Hi, and welcome along to AFTV News Daily. Hope you guys are doing well this morning. The sun is shining. It's beautiful weather over here in the UK today, this week, as a matter of fact. They said it's going to be like this all week. So come the game on Thursday, they definitely will need those water breaks that they've been taking, because it's going to be very, very hot, and that's going to sap the energy of the players for sure. But looking forward to the game on Thursday. And Mikel Arteta, in his press conference yesterday, had a lot of things to reveal. One of them we're going to come to, but the first one I'm going to touch on was some very, very bad news about Gabriel Martinelli. He is going to be out, possibly out, well, looks like out for the rest of the season with a knee injury. And this is really, really bad news. There's been loads of us calling for him to play. There's been loads of us saying, you know, what's been up? Why has Gabriel Martinelli not played? I reckon that he would have played this Thursday, surely would have played. But in training on Monday, he got a knee injury and he is now out for the rest of the season. It's not a good one. And he's going to be out. And that is really, really bad news for Arsenal, especially at the moment where you're talking about squads and having to use your squad. And remember, the games are coming thick and fast. You know, we've got Southampton on Thursday. We then have Sheffield United on Sunday, followed by a game a few days later at home against Norwich. So you really, really do need a big, thick squad to cope with all these games. Our squad's already looking light with the amount of injuries we've got, and now Gabriel Martinelli is out. And in his press conferences, these were the words of Mikel Arteta. He said, in training, the last action, he got hit by another player and damaged his knee. We're looking at months out. They are not muscular injuries, more traumatic, but we have to deal with that. Months out, that means possibly even at the start of the new season, we won't be seeing Gabriel Martinelli. And that is a massive blow. I mean, I've been flabbergasted why he hasn't even played in the first two games. Now we're not going to see him play in any of the games. So I guess we'll be seeing a lot more of Eddie Nketiah. Lacazette's going to be playing more games. You know, will they promote another youth through? Who knows? But it's definitely, for me, a big blow, because he's been one of the shining lights this season for Arsenal. And it adds to the injury problems that have just been stacking up since this restart. It's been very unlucky, we've got to say, for Arsenal. There's nothing you can do about these injuries, you know what I mean? The injury to Xhaka. Good news on that is that Xhaka could be back in training very soon, but Xhaka's injured. Socrates, who we could do with in defence right now, injured. Might be returning back to training, might be fit for the weekend's game, but basically has missed our first two games. Pablo Mari, who was looking good, out injured. You couldn't write it. And then Bern Leno, who we did get some good news on yesterday, because at first there was a lot of talk that he could be out for up to a year, according to a lot of the newspapers. They were saying that without no evidence, without no proof. He hadn't even done a scan yet. It turns out that he's probably going to be out for about 6 weeks. That still probably means that he misses the rest of this season. Well, he will. But at least it's, you know, we can look forward to him returning next season, because he has been one of our best players. So him looking to be back in training in about 4 to 6 weeks, that at least is some good news. But so many injuries, and now an injury to Martinelli. And we're not getting injuries to fringe players. We're getting injuries to big players. Leno, Martinelli, Xhaka, Mari. You know, so it's really bad news on the injury front, and really bad news on Gabriel Martinelli. Another thing that he was asked about in his press conference was what's happening with some of these guys that are at Arsenal at the moment on loan. Namely, David Luiz, Cedric, whose contract runs out next week, hasn't played a game yet for Arsenal. What's happening with these guys? You know, what's happening with Pablo Mari? You know, Ceballos, confirmed yesterday by Mikel Arteta that they're looking to sign both Cedric and Pablo Mari on permanent deals. Their deals have been extended till the end of the season, and they're looking to bring them both in permanently. So that's Cedric and Mari. Also, Ceballos, his contract has been extended until the end of the season, because it would have finished next week. And then the big one, David Luiz. A lot of people was, saying, what's going to happen with David Luiz? After the game against Manchester City, there's a lot of Arsenal supporters, the majority, I'd say, were like, yeah, time for him to go. We've got to get rid of this guy. We cannot, he's just a liability. The mistakes he's made in these big games, we just can't afford to have that anymore. Let's get rid of him. However, Arsenal have decided to sign him not just until the end of the season, but the talk is they're going to give him a new contract, another year on his contract. David Luiz will be here for another year. And that, again, is very, very surprising to a lot of people. And there's been a big reaction on that. A lot of people saying that, why are we signing him to another year? It's just, it's I don't know. I wanted to get your views on it. I really wanted to get your views on this whole David Luiz situation. Does he deserve another year? Does he deserve that extended 1 year? I mean, I don't know. I mean, Mikel Arteta said David is a really important player for us. He's played most of our matches this season and has been important for the team. Sorry, Edu said that. His passing and communication with the team on and off the pitch, he helps everybody. Yes, he definitely does look like he's a favourite at the team. But is it a mistake to sign him on for another year? Give him another year's contract. Then there's talk today about Guendouzi. There's still a lot of speculation in a lot of newspapers that Arsenal may move to get rid of Guendouzi. Questions about his attitude, etc. Now, good news for Arsenal is that he didn't get done. He did grab Mope by the neck at the end of that game against Brighton, but he didn't get any further disciplinary action. I think he's very lucky there. I thought he was gonna. But I don't know. I like Guendouzi. I mean, we don't know what his attitude's like in training and that, but at least for a kid, 21, he's putting up a bit of fight, Well, what do you guys think? So I'm going to throw it open to you guys. Let me know what you think about, first of all, Martinelli and also the David Luiz situation. Should David Luiz have got a new contract, extending it for a year? Remember, after that game against City, he said that, he came out and said this stuff about, I should have made a decision a year ago or earlier, a few weeks ago. And everyone was a bit mystified by that whole thing. But it looks like he's got it done. He, of course, will be still out of the game against Southampton, so he won't be able to play in that game. M. Rivera says he's mad under 10 million. He's made under 10 million this year. Will take the same next year. How does his contract affect the transfer window? That's M. Rivera with a super chat. Thank you. Yeah, he's making a lot of money. Mammoth Enigma says, hi, Robbie. Do you think we will be looking to buy any defender or fullback after extending so many defenders, Cedric, Mari, Luiz contracts? Thoughts? Right back, it doesn't. I'd say it doesn't look like we'll get a right back. Cedric's going to be that right back. Mari and Luiz are two centre halves. We've already got a load of centre halves. We've got even centre halves out on loan. Surely, I mean, we know we've got Saliba coming on. We know, every Arsenal fan knows we need a centre half. But who knows? Mikel Arteta was asked about transfers. He was asked about Partey and stuff like that. He said, listen, nobody knows what's going to happen. We're going to have to see where we finish in the league. And we're not going to finish in the top 4, are we? Very, very doubtful we'll get into Europe. So Will we sign another? It's honestly, it's who knows? Who knows? Rosdog11 says every Arsenal fan is moaning about how Arsenal signed Cedric on a 4-year deal today because he hasn't played a minute yet, but stalwart. I mean, he's our player, and there's competition for Bellerin. Yeah, listen, I think that's why people are, he hasn't played a game yet, so. And a lot of people are just thinking, is he worth it? Again, it's a very cheap deal for Arsenal, isn't it? It's a free deal. He's not going to cost them a penny. All it's going to cost them is just whatever is, they giving him in wages. So, nice cheap deal for Arsenal. Mr. Kipling 1 says, Luiz better not rub off on the super potential of Saliba tomorrow, or any other youngsters potentially coming in. Terrible example for the youth. Well, one of the reasons why they've cited for sort of wanting to sign him is the fact that, he can be that player that can guide and, that experienced guy. But his lack of concentration. I do think he does have that sort of, you can see he's a character. You can see he's liked by the other players. But he has a serious lack of concentration problem. And I don't know. DJ E Fox 96 says Mari played most of his career in the second and third Spanish league or at mediocre teams. Buying such a player for 10 to 15 million is a joke. I disagree with that one. He done excellently at Flamengo. They won the league over there in Brazil. They won the equivalent to the Champions League over there in South America. He's played at a very good level. And from what I've seen of him, I like him. I like what I've seen, even though we ain't seen much, Carl Anthony Thompson says Cedric signing is the end of Bellerin. Well, certainly Bellerin's going to have to be on his toes now because there's a proper right back who's come in. He's going to have to be on his toes. Is Cedric the answer? Can Cedric do what we want? We're going to find out. Isaac 10 says, you actually thought you'd get top 5 over Chelsea, Man United. Surprised if you get top 7. Mark is ripping Arsenal. I know Mark was on to me yesterday, man. One of many people ripping us at the moment. Listen, it is a tough time to be an Arsenal fan at the moment, but it's our club. We stick with our club through thick and thin. Valcrom says we should get Unai Nunes on loan. Yeah, there's a lot of players we can get. Darshan Yu says he was a bit rusty against City, but apart from Liverpool and Chelsea one was Mustafi's fault. He just won the Europa last year. He will come good. I think he's talking about David Luiz. I think he's made a lot more mistakes than that, Darshan. He's made a lot more mistakes this season than that. Say says, Robbie, I don't know why people are outraging about these extensions. In my opinion, only Louis' extension doesn't make sense. Cedric is for squad depth. Mari left-footed player. Arteta wants. I don't have a problem with. Well, the Mari one I have no problem with. The Cedric one we ain't even seen him play yet, so I don't know yet whether he's going to suit Arsenal or not. I really don't know. And the David Luiz one, I'm sorry, 1-year extension. I'm not sure he deserves that. We should be going out there and we should be buying a proper centre half, in my opinion. And begging for Wi-Fi says Arsenal are becoming Newcastle / Leeds. Yet Newcastle are going to be taken over by Saudi wealth fund, 260 billion. Opinions put aside, it shows ambition. Yeah, it does. It does show ambition that we, at the moment, doesn't look like we're going to be spending that type of money. We know about the pandemic, of course, that sets everything back. Daniel says, or Danjol, should I say, he says, do you remember Brazil versus Germany? 1-7, greetings from Germany. You need a lot of nerves. Oh, man. I've been getting so much stick this week. It's been unreal. Valcrom said, Dub so big, it won Arsenal a game. Well, let's hope so. Let's hope so, man. We need to win against Southampton. And it's not looking great at the moment. Southampton, you know, off the back of a very good win, and they're a good team. M. Rivera says, if Tottenham make European football, does it look bad on Arsenal for not getting Jose? Not as far as I'm concerned. I did not want Mourinho at Arsenal as our manager. I wanted a young progressive manager. We've got a young progressive manager. We're going to have to be patient. You know, we're going to have to be patient. It's as simple as that. So, you know, there's so many problems at the moment, so many injuries. Mourinho's got lucky with injuries. He's got all of his injured players back. And at the same time, we've lost all of our players, or losing a lot of our main players to injuries. It's just like almost like it's worked in reverse since everything's come back. James Chilton says, Arsenal are going back to how they were in the early 90s. Annie Ken says, extending Luiz' contract by a year, as well as other fringe players, shows where Arsenal is heading to. And this also put a big question mark on Arteta's credibility. Well, not sure how much, you know, how much do these have to do with Arteta? You know, I don't know. Kusha Grass says, Martinelli injury is a chance for Nelson to earn his place in the team. Also, it's time for players like Lacazette to show some character, up their games, and put us back on our feet. Big game tomorrow for Lacazette now. You know, there's a lot of people who've been saying that Martinelli should have been starting ahead of him. Big game for him. Big game for, you know, Eddie Nketiah as well. I'm sure he'll be playing a part. Swirly V says, Luiz' deal is a mistake. But all I want to see is a settled back four starting week in, week out. When was the last time we've seen the same back four consistently? And that is another one of the problems. But a lot of that is because they haven't been good enough. Joel says, since you signed Luiz and Mari, also Saliba, there is no point in buying another defender because you have to dead club. We need another defender. We need another proper centre back, in my opinion. And there's a lot of centre backs that need to go. I thought Luiz should be one of those that should go. Jay Jones says, as we all know, so many players are under contract till the end of next season. So these players are being signed to steady the ship to that point. Then we can get rid of the players and start again, I suppose. Swap Contrast says, Saka is a player. No talks about how gifted he is with both feet for a youngster. He has no hesitation in cutting in on his right foot and having a go. Very strong, weak-footed player. Saka's been brilliant. I want to hear about him signing. You know, we're hearing about these little fringe players signing. How about us hearing about Aubameyang and Saka signing? You know? Genwill says, what do you think about Ainsley Maitland-Niles' future at the club? Should he be loaned out like Reece Nelson? I think the writing's on the wall for Ainsley. I reckon he might get sold. I really do. Ater Zidane with a super chat. Thanks very much, Ater. Robert says, "Aye, Rob. Support Chelsea." No, thank you. No, thank you, mate. You know what I mean? You stick with your club, man. You know what I mean? You stick for your club. Remember when Chelsea was about to go bust? You may not remember that, but I'm telling you. So you stick with your club. Triple E says, Mari and Cedric deals are good deals. Luiz the only one only got a deal because he's a leader. As long as we get another athletic centre back, I have no problem. Yeah, well, I don't know, man. Would David Luiz be in any of the other top 6 teams? He wouldn't, would he? Come on, be on. Why are we giving him another year? I don't get it. Serious. Or maybe try this, was this guy saying. TY Crypto says Luiz should play as a CDM. There's been a lot of suggestions of that. If he plays there, if he even plays, in my opinion, mistakes he makes won't be as badly punished. And he's good at passing. The only thing with Luiz in that there, his mistakes still get punished when you play in that position. You know, you make rash challenges, things like that. You give away free kicks. It's still a problem, you know. Jackman says, we are literally where we washed up players come to collect their pensions. It's embarrassing. How is Saliba going to kick on with this crap around him. So he's not very happy. Nick Paris is saying Abba is gone. I mean, I want to hear about those contracts. I want to hear about those contracts. Ali Mohammed says, do you think Arsenal should sell Saka to get some money for defenders? Absolutely not. We've got to hold on to our best players. You know? Reece Taylor says, as a Leicester fan, I'll take the likes of Saka, Guendouzi, and Maitland-Niles. Leicester fans now coming on saying they'll take our best players. Bakri says, hey, Robbie, what's the point in giving Arteta time if the board will not spend in the summer, especially after signing Mari, Cedric, and Luiz? It certainly seems to me like the Mari one I have no problem with. The Cedric one, I only have a problem with because I'm not seeing enough of him. I'd be like, right, sign until the end of the season, which is what they've said at the moment. But they've also said that they're looking to do him long terms. Sign him till the end of the season, then see what happens after that. But we're not. We're giving him a long-term deal already. I want to see more of him first, you know, before I make a decision. Or it's not down to me, obviously, but, you know. Taran says, hi, Robbie. I really think we should get a new defender like Joe Gomez or possibly Koulibaly. But the problem with him is that he's very old. So Joe Gomez is the way we'd never get Joe. Liverpool going to send us Gomez. And Koulibaly, maybe 29, but he's a million miles better than anything we've got. But yeah, I hear you on that. We'd have to pay a huge transfer fee to get a player like that in. And obviously, we ain't got them sort of funds right now. We know that. So that's an important. And why would he want to come to play for a team that possibly not even going to be in Europe next season? That's going to have a big effect on our deals. T-Day Shifts says, Cedric, Ceballos, Luiz, Mari have all signed new contracts. Yes, thanks for reminding us. Kelvin says, how come they arranged the loan deals quickly, but Aubameyang and Saka contracts take like 6 months? Yeah, I mean, those deals are taking long because of the pandemic. And, you know, there's been a lot of things, but still, we get all these deals done. You know, reason being, simple deals to get done, cheap, not going to cost a lot of money. Dixie says, Saka is one of our own. We can't let him go. If we do, I will never forgive Sam Kroenke. So true. There's no way we can afford to let that kid go. He's excellent. He really is. Ari says, what about the link, about the Mings link? Tyrone Mings. It's okay. Not a bad player. Still not that absolute solid rock that I'd like to see at Arsenal. I think Tyrone Mings, I do think he has, you know, as well. He seems to have leadership qualities. England international now, prone to mistakes, but I still would. I'm on about those real top guys like Koulibaly style, you know. But Gunner said Diop or Rice if West Ham go down. Well, I'll tell you what, I'd take both of those. I think Declan Rice would be brilliant player, but could we afford him? That would be a lot of money. And Diop, I think, is a very good player as well. I'd definitely take him as well. We might have to be looking at those sort of players because if West Ham do go down, or Norwich go down, Max Aarons and players like that, looking at those players might be a good idea. Might be able to get them cheaper than we would have done. Trent says, Robbie, we need to prioritise pace with the centre-backs. Gives us the ability to leave 2-on-2 at the back, just like Liverpool do with Gomez and Virgil van Dijk. King W says, people keep saying give Arteta a chance, but let's be honest, he's not good enough for Arsenal and the crisis we are in. We've got to come on. We've come back 2 games. Up until the break, he hadn't lost a game this year. And also, take into the fact that there's been a lot of issues going on around the club, injuries, everything. Look, Martinelli's injured now. You've got to give him a chance. You know, talk of getting rid of him and I think he's completely wrong right now. Completely wrong. You've got to give him a chance. He's not even had a chance to bring in some of his own players. He might not even get that this summer with the whole coronavirus thing. So we've got to give this guy a chance. AJ says we're heading nowhere. The young generation will stop supporting Arsenal and support clubs that have exciting players who play exciting football. Have to realise we are losing an entire generation. It's true. Need to get a grip of what's going on. We need to, the owner needs to get a grip of what is going on. Ali says it would be much better for Arsenal if Aubameyang goes for around 40 to 50 million pounds, because it will really help Arsenal and boost their transfer budget and allow them to sign more players. Well, what you're saying is quantity over quality. For me, he's a quality player, right? Him and Saka, we need to sign, we need to keep. Where would we be this season without Aubameyang? It's all right signing a load of players, but I don't want. That's the problem, and this is what my problem with even like some of the signings that we're making. I don't want mediocre players. I want Arsenal to start adding top quality players to the squad. Top quality players that can, even if they're having a bad game, they can just produce a moment like what Nicolas Pepe done the other day. Nicholas says if Arsenal's hierarchy was a player, it would have been Ozil. Only does have the bare minimum and only performs when people are starting to have had enough. Good analogy. Steve Walsh says swap Aubameyang for Alexis. Okay, Alexis is done out here, man. I mean, we don't need that either. Don Big L says, no matter what player you bring into Arsenal with this disgraceful and poisonous dressing room, how can a player grow at Arsenal in this environment? Is it the dressing room? Is it what's going on above? Is it just, I don't know. There's issues at the moment that need sorting out, definitely. Chris Owen says, at best, David Luiz is a backup player. The fact he's gets starting at Arsenal every week is a joke. I'd start Saka, Aubameyang, Pepe tomorrow with Willock, Xhaka and Torreira behind if fully fit. No Xhaka tomorrow. I'm not even sure if Torreira is going to be fit. There's not really any talk on that. I'm hoping he will be. And even if he does come in, it'll be his first game. So, Alex says, one of the mistakes your club made was to offer a deal to David Luiz rather than Gary Cahill. That's a point there. Look at how well Palace are doing with Cahill in their defence as a captain, and he was a free transfer. That's a very good point. Cahill has done excellently, and we could have got Cahill. And he does have a lot of leadership qualities, and he makes a lot less mistakes. He has had an excellent season for Palace. Palace, who, by the way, are above Arsenal right now. I don't know if you guys have been checking the league. They're above us. Jacob says, hi, Robbie. Do you think we're going to have enough money to buy something that is positive for our defence? Like Gabriel from Lille, a young defender. We need no reason to spend, again, money in attack. Yeah, we need to buy we still need to buy a quality centre-back. Even if this Luiz thing, I don't care. We still need quality there, even with Murray. King of Sports says, sign Upamecano. Would be great. Jacob says, what are the chances of Upamecano joining? Who knows, man? Mikel Arteta saying it all depends what happens in the summer, where we finish. So who knows? He's saying at the moment he can't say who he's going to sign because he's got to wait until the season finishes and see where we are. Stefo says, Robbie, top players will not join Arsenal because of the lack of ambition. Would you join Arsenal if you were a top player? Cheers. The honest answer right now, if you're a top player, no. Why would you join Arsenal? Unless Arsenal pay you some ridiculous wages. Wiz F421 says, we're done. I can't believe how we recently performed. I'm scared that if we lose to Southampton, we probably come only 9th. Well, I'm just going to do a couple more here now. Steve O says, we're a shambles, Robbie. Look at us. We're scared of Southampton. And Kyan says, I think Kroenke is the main problem. He invests money in the Rams, but not on Arsenal. Wow. So lots to ponder, lots to talk about. I think the main thing is we've got a game tomorrow against Southampton. We need to win that game. Another loss, it's going to be so much doom and gloom. A win could really lift that gloom. It really could lift that gloom. So yeah, it is what it is, man. Big up to Lucas, who just said, hey, Robbie, can you react to my latest video on Arsenal? Tell me what you think. Lucas Vijani. I'll try and find it. You'll have to send me a link. So look out for some of the videos we've got coming out today. Claude and Ty, really funny today. Ty, what was he talking about the other day, man, about Mope? And he's still going on about it now. But Claude and Ty video coming out. And I've got a preview to the Southampton game coming out later as well. Make sure you check those out. And make sure you subscribe here to AFTV. But please, Arsenal, come on. Lift the doom and gloom. Get us a win. Let's bounce back.